about working in private practice, and we have an occupational therapist who is doing just that here in Adelaide. His name is Brad Williams, and he has a particular specialty area of practice around the activity of daily living called driving. So Brad will tell you about himself, how he's got to this point of focusing on driving in his practice, and also share with you a very interesting case study. And we'll see you at the tutorial afterwards to do some revision from this about this semester prep to exam. Okay, so welcome back, Brad, and thank you.
Thanks everybody. Sorry, I'm not used to the microphone, but hopefully that's okay. I'm just recording me for the purpose of putting it onto the website. So if you've got questions, hopefully you're okay with your voice being recorded on there. I'll try and repeat the question so other people can hear it as well. So I can't get the presenter view up either, so I can't see my notes. So I'm winging it a little bit. All right, so I apologise for that, but that's me, and that's my business, Williams Occupational Therapy. And like Cherie said, I specialise in driving, but I haven't always been a driver-trained OT. In a previous life, I was a baker and a cake decorator, working for a company called Heidelberg Cakes and German cake shop up in Harndorf, and worked for the Stanford Grand and Plaza doing desserts and so forth. But that life wasn't for me. I enjoyed it and had a good time, but it wasn't, the lifestyle didn't suit who I was. So I went looking for something else to do and looked for a challenge that was outside of a kitchen area. Just a little bit about me. I was a mature grad entry student into OT after 10 years of baking. I am married with 3 kids. They're a little bit older than that now. That's from a couple of years ago doing this presentation now. But with kids, and with that comes a very poor golf swing, because I don't have much time with a private business. Went to university, enjoyed the lifestyle of university probably a little bit too much, and got myself onto every pub crawl that I could. I did mine at Uni SA, not through here, but we did student projects and so forth, and I went into university thinking that I was going to be a physiotherapist, that I'd do a year of OT and then transfer across into physiotherapy, because I wasn't really sure. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to be a physio. OT sounded pretty good. I just had a friend that had graduated as an OT, and she told me there was lots of options. So I went into the field knowing that there was lots of options to fall into. And once I got in there, there was no getting me out. There's no way I wanted to be a physiotherapist after they'd sunk their claws into me. I got very much into adult rehab at uni. That was the area that I found most fascinating, and got my first job at the Rehab Hospital in 2005. And in 2008 moved into the driving clinic at the hospital there. And for me, driving, have you been introduced to the Occupational Performance Model, the PEO Model? For me, that's where that model came into its own, especially in the driving, because we assess the person, what's their disability, what's their issue, what's their medical issue. We look at the occupation of driving, so the actual task of driving. We break that down into the fields that they might want to drive. It's no good testing a city driver out on country roads if they don't do that all the time. Or vice versa, a country driver in the middle of Adelaide, it's not quite appropriate. So we break the occupation down into its smaller elements, and then we look at that environment, daytime, nighttime, the actual car itself, what modifications can we actually give to the car to actually make this occupational performance something that's achievable. So in 2008 I became driver trained, which is a postgraduate course. You have to have 2 years of experience first before you actually go into the course. And between 2008 and 2011, I increased my skills as much as I possibly could in that area. I'd found my little niche of where I wanted to work in. For me, this was exactly where I wanted to be because of that PEO model, and it was easy to implement and put into action, and it all just made sense to me. So I became trained in truck assessments as well, and bus assessments, and motorbike assessments, and plant and machinery, and all kinds of stuff as well. Anything to do with operating a machine with wheels. And then I was given an opportunity with PE Health, which is a company that does worker rehab, and to do some contract work, some subcontract work, and started to move slowly out of the hospital and more into my own business, and started contracting out to other people until I had enough to be able to start my own business. Said yes to everything to start off with, but now we have become absolutely specialised in driving, and that's what we do. And I say we because the business has grown to be more than just me. We've got other driving trained OTs who do driving assessments. We've got driving instructors specialised in medical conditions, so that's what we specialise in. We don't train 16-year-olds who want to just get their Ps. We only train people with a medical disability. We do modifications to cars, and we also got our own range of spinner knobs as well to help people drive. Williams OT had found a hole in the market, and we did our absolute best to try and fill that hole. What had been in the past was a driver-trained OT did an assessment, and then they sent off to a driving instructor to do the lessons, and then they'd send off to another modifier to actually do the modifications to the car, and then send off to the Department of Transport. So I started taking on contractors and slowly built up a company that now covers everything. Anything to do with driving, with a medical condition, we've got it covered. So that's how we built Williams Occupational Therapy. As it says down the bottom there, being your own business owner is all about chaos theory and change management theory. It's all about trying to keep all the balls up in the air as you're juggling them non-stop. So it's a challenge, but if you find your niche area, there's nothing better, from my point of view, to owning your own business, because it's very meaningful. It's all about you advancing what you do in clinical practice to be able to make it better for clients, but then also trying to create a better revenue coming in. So like I said, we look at everything to do with driving, including getting wheelchairs into cars. We've got our own range of spinner knobs, and we do our own modifications, and we also do lessons as well. But the most important part of my personal story is about occupational balance. Hopefully you've heard of that, about balancing out your life. It's very easy to get caught up in business, but it's more important that it's about these guys, and that. Just to be able to make sure that life is enjoyable. And I've found that occupational therapy gives you that. It's very, very rewarding. It teaches you about how to be a better human being through all of the theory that you learn, because that's what, as an OT, you're actually trying to impart onto other people as well, whether it be a physical disability, or being a kid learning how to hold a pen, or working in mental health. There's so many areas that you can go into. For me, it just makes you a better person overall. That's my story in a nutshell. The best way to explain it really is in a case history. So that's what I'm going to do now, if I can get out of here.